I honestly believe that Ryse Son of Rome is one of the best slashers and action games ever created, with a few downsides, but still, just look at the screen. This game is beautiful. You could have just given me an 8-hour video of these finishers and I still would be satisfied. I've completed this game before and this was my second playthrough. Despite the fact that the game should be considered as one-timer, most of players won't play it more than once, I enjoyed Ryse the second time as much as the first, if not even more. In this video I would be praising this game and will try to convince you to at least give it a try. At first I would like to start with a little history lesson. Ryse has a quite story to tell. Initially this game was released in 2013, but this game is way older than that. Crytek Budapest started developing Ryse in 2004. At first our game was a first-person melee combat product. Later Crytek tried to show their concept to different publishers and in 2009 they've pitched it to Microsoft. They've liked the concept of the game, but in 2006 they started working on Kinect, so Crytek should have had create games that would support this feature. In 2011 Crytek has presented Ryse on E3 with a strange trailer. I think that even nowadays this concept wouldn't be popular, so what could you expect at that time? Anyways, in 2011 Crytek decided to change fantasy setting to more realistic Rome, and now the game would be developed by Frankfurt division. Since then they've thrown a lot of ideas. For example, they wanted to make this game into an interactive movie that would suit Kinect. Luckily, none of this nonsense would become a reality. Later, game's perspective shifted to third person and focused on the character's story. In June 2012, team came up with 3 ideas for Ryse. Fully Kinect control, half Kinect and half Xbox 360 controller, and a fully gamepad controls. At first they've decided to take the mixed variant. After a few tests it became clear that this type of a gameplay is not perfect. Thus we've got only gamepad controls. So here we are with Ryse Son of Rome. Journals back at the time mostly reviewed game as mediocre, 6 or 7 out of 10. And if I could agree that gameplay itself is a bit repetitive and simple, but overall this game is a masterpiece, a solid 9 out of 10 for me personally. But hey, everyone has different tastes. It's also worth mentioning about controversy. A Federal Trade Commission investigated that Microsoft paid Machinima for fake positive reviews, so they would not portray Microsoft, the Xbox One or the launch titles in a negative manner. As you could have guessed, Ryse Son of Rome was on that list. Unfortunately, I wasn't paid by Microsoft, so this praising video from a no-name is not sponsored. Anyways, as for the future, we probably would never get a sequel for this game. Crytek and Microsoft were negotiating about Ryse 2, but for their investments Microsoft wanted to get rights for this franchise. Crytek refused. Now they are not in a good shape, but still owns Ryse, so maybe we will see a sequel for this game, but I fear it's not going to be anytime soon. That's all about the history of a development. Now let's talk about the game. In terms of visuals, Ryse is beautiful, and this is not an exaggeration. Ryse looks amazing. Unfortunately, it uses CryEngine. God, I hate this engine. I cannot describe in words how much I hate it. Usually it takes a wicked amount of resources to even launch a game, and at the same time it gives not that pretty picture for it. Luckily, in Ryse's case we've got an exception. This game looks good, but as any game that made on CryEngine, it's not technically perfect. The game was released in 2013, but sometimes it refuses to work properly. Be ready to encounter lags. They're not that bad, rare, but still you will probably have them. Especially you could notice a significant frame drops when there are a lot of shadows and lightning on the levels. And that's not just my problem, I've seen the same feedback from players with way better systems than mine. But to be fair, this poor performance I've met only 2 times. Let's say from out 8 hours, I've seen lags for like 10 or 20 minutes. And even if it would have been more, I don't care anyway. I could forgive a lot of things to this game. It's that good. Besides typical CryEngine problem, in almost any other way, the game is graphically amazing. I hate to say it because I would sound like a lot of IGN journals, but Ryse really makes you feel like you're in Rome at those antique times. Levels are great, they are interesting, atmospheric. Few times I just stopped to take a minute and enjoy local use. They focused not only at the functional parts of the levels where you could run around, but also created amazing backgrounds. In addition, there are a lot of environmental storytelling here. Someone is crying over the dead relative during the siege. Here we have members of another cohort and you instantly will understand that something is gonna happen in a few minutes. Barbarians are waiting for you. All these moments create an amazing feeling, which holds from start to finish. To back up this atmosphere, they've used dynamic lighting and shadows. They look great. We have astonishing attention to the details. You could see these amazing reflections on armor. As I've said, levels are filled with stories. You just need to pay attention. One interesting thing I've noticed that this game has no specific art style. I mean, we have simple and useful interface, but overall game looks real. It's more like a film to me. Cutscenes only proves this opinion.
Dry land and a warm meal awaits us. Marines, prepare for docking. Centurion! The chains are rising! Our entry will be blocked! The fleet will be crushed to splinters! Incendiaries incoming! Swing wide! Swing wide!
Another moment I would like to bring up is the animations. Obviously it's the motion capture and actors did an amazing job. I'm sure you will enjoy them a lot. As for the downsides, water in this game looks unnatural, plastic. It's good that we won't see it that much. Also, I don't like how they've made fire effects. If we will take a closer look, we could see it's even sprited. Probably it was made for optimization, but still not good. Overall, visually, I adore Ryse Son of Rome, the game from 2013 that still could compete with others. Truly next gen for its time. It wouldn't be that good if not for the graphics. Sound design completely supports visuals, it's making appearance even more noticeable. Their combination is something special. Screams, battle sounds, or just a quiet city noise. It's all on the table. About all, the voice acting. As I've said and showed you, Ryse feels more like a film than a game. Music, on the other hand, is not that impressive as the sound design. You won't find here tracks from Gladiator that will pierce your soul, but nonetheless, they are fine. They will deliver and support emotion that you need to feel in this current situation. Glory, sadness, drama, but yes, most likely you won't be listening them outside of the game. Gameplay itself is the pinnacle of a proper pacing, storytelling and tension. Developers knew exactly how to deliver their story and how to entertain a player. We have relatively simple combat system, more like rhythmic sessions from Batman Arkham Asylum. If you play that game, you will recognize this with no problem. The same way Ryse mixes combat with the cutscenes, other gameplay mechanics, just how it should be done. Cutscenes and storytelling neither short nor long, they are exactly as they should be. Here you have a fight sequence. It depends on the pace. If story demands that it should be intense, you will fight a lot of opponents at once, or just a couple. Then you will have shooting segment, and after a while you will be doing platforming. Then we will watch a cutscene, and all of this mixed perfectly. You will never be bored or tired from this game. Developers mixes gameplay elements impressively good, from any side. Story development, pace, entertainment, drama, all of this. Let's talk about the combat. It's pretty simple in its core. We have a light attack with our sword, we have a heavy attack, or if being more precise a push, we could evade, roll, or we could block most of incoming attacks in the same way as any popular counter-attack game, such as Assassin's Creed, Batman and many others. Choreography is amazing, it looks spectacular every damn time. Also, if we have pylons, we could throw them at enemy. We could take our aim or just do a quick throw at the nearest opponent. Once we have caused enough damage, we could finish our enemy. They will have specific icon above their heads. Then we will play a short quick time event. Blue means that you should press light attack button, yellow heavy attack, and green is block. The game does not punish a player for a miss, you will just not receive a combo boost. There are a few types of these finishers and bonuses that you could choose anytime. You could regenerate your health, you could get more experience, I will explain why do you need it in a moment, you could receive a damage boost, and you could have more focus or mana. And there are a few dozens of these finishers. What finisher it will be depends on environment, your chosen category, or it could be even double finisher. To do this, you need to damage 2 opponents. Also, you need to unlock them. Here, where experience comes out. Ryse has a simple upgrade system. You could improve your stats or unlock the finishers, as I've said. The strange thing is that you could simply unlock them all with experience, or buy it with real money. Yes, this game has microtransactions. That makes no sense. You can complete the game on the hardest difficulty even without a single upgrade. But if you want to have them all, you could farm needed experience even in a single playthrough. It's not that tiresome, just play and you will have them. Why they wanted to do the system, I don't know. Combat feels like a rhythmic session. The more perfect timing of your attacks or blocks, the easier it will go. If you have any difficulties, you could use a special ability that slows time. Besides combat, we also have a few other mechanics. A few times we will form a Roman turtle in order to go through dangerous zones. It looks pretty epic, to be honest. In this formation we could block incoming arrows and charge throw attack. We also have kinda strategic elements. A few times we could be able to choose where our soldiers and archers should go. Once you will push a button, they will provide a cover fire. Basically you could choose where you will fight, on the left or on the right. Sometimes we also could shoot enemies with Scorpio. Between fight sequences we have exploring sections where we can find collectibles. They would unlock additional content such as artworks and platforming. A couple of times we will fight bosses. As I've said before, they are not stretched, but in the same time they are intense and challenging enough to entertain a player and give him a feeling of an important battle. Basically, that's it about the gameplay. A lot of people called this simplicity as a downside. With all the upgrades, in an hour or two you will see all the content that the game could offer. There are no other weapons in the game or something that could change your playstyle, no advanced combos, simple attacks and finishers most of the time. Still, the game could impress you. It introduces you the new enemies and locations till the very end. It doesn't feel the same and simple for me. It entertains me in every way. I personally love this gameplay. The real downside for me, there is not enough Ryse Son of Rome. To help me with that matter, there is a multiplayer mode. Unfortunately, I couldn't find any companion who would play with me online, so this game is basically dead. Still, you could call your friend to play with you in cooperative mode. Also, you could play custom online matches solo. That is also fun. The story is good, but basically we could call it Gladiator ripoff. There are a lot of obvious or hidden references. We have the same once proud but betrayed general seeking vengeance theme. Our protagonist would be also fight as a gladiator and even will have the similar helmet design. Overall, Rome presentation is also not copied, but once again rather referenced to the film. Sequence in Britain has similar vibes with the film called The Eagle. At the same time, I won't call the story from Ryse Son of Rome bland or copied from films. Absolutely not. It's unique, interesting, dramatic, and have a small amount of mystic god's will. In fact, I think that games that takes place in antique or medieval times should have some sort of a mystical vibes. People were so obsessed with their religion, were so loyal to their beliefs, that history itself pierced with unexplained events or periods even. It's just the way we lived back then. In game we have two gods. One is personification of the Greek god Boreas, and the other is named Summer, and it's unclear what god or goddess it is, but probably it could be Nemesis. In Greek mythology it's Hades. So the story. Beware of spoilers ahead. And one more thing before I'll start. This story is not history accurate for the sake of drama.
What family? What's your name, soldier?
Marius. But my name is of no import. My story, however, is.
The game starts as our protagonist Marius returns from his training home and meets his father. Leontius seems worried. He will tell us about Damocles, a fallen Roman general that were betrayed by his generals. His story will pierce whole game through, and you always should keep it in mind. This reunion wouldn't last long. Barbarians attacked Rome. During this assault, all members of our family will be killed, and the last words of our father will be,
It's worse than I could have imagined. You must save Rome. Save it from... Save it from there.
You bastards! You murdering barbarian bastards!
I will do as you bid, Father. I will save Rome from them. I'll spill their blood.
I'm Commander Battalion of the 14th. I fought with your father. If it's blood you want, I promise I will give you as much as you can handle.
Thus, we would travel to Britain, where this rebellion against Rome has started. Of course, they attack us. Here we see another god. The game was rigged right from the start. Marius becomes quite popular among soldiers and he has been promoted to a centurion. A few moments later we have been told where barbarian leader is located and where one of the sons of emperor is being held. And Nero's son is quite a character. Long story short, we will capture barbarian war chief and his daughter, Boudica. In real life, she led a rebellion that took place only in Britain. Once Romans have beaten her army, she killed herself. Here, her role will be different. So in-game we headed north. After a couple of fights, we will free our commander and emperor's son. I remind you, save Rome from them. People of Britain just wanted to be treated as normal human beings.
He has renounced this rebellion. He will submit to the rule of Rome, and henceforth he will only fight to secure peace between our two great peoples.
Highness Commodus, all we ask is that my people are treated with fairness. Treated as equals.
Embrace me.
King Oswald, here is your peace.
How dare you?
You filthy, stinking dog! How dare you!
You see? You see what happens when you defy me? Never defy me!
But here we are, under the siege. Our proud chosen had left, so soldiers should take care of this mess. In the end, Marius kinda died.
Damocles was a great warrior, a revered leader in a vast army. His cowardly commanders abandoned him. Nemesis, the goddess of revenge, allowed Damocles to return to the world as a vengeful spirit. A ghostly, black-armored centurion who would hunt down and kill each of the generals who had wronged him.
We return to Rome as nobody. But why? Anyways, we will interfere and save a woman. Once we will reach our home, Summer will tell us that we should kill the Emperor, save Rome from them. Thus, we took an image of Damocles and we will go to Arena in order to get a possibility to kill Nero's sons. Once we'll be done with one of them, we will enter the Colosseum and another boss fight. Then our commander Vitalian will find us and will ask us to help defend Rome against barbarians. A few fights under the siege later, we will kill Nero and, unfortunately, Marius will die too. Eventually all comes to the moment that two gods played their games. One wanted to destroy Rome and civilization, and the other one wanted to save it. There is no story hook for the sequel. They'd need to create a new line and new characters. Like this will ever gonna happen. I only described short summary of the story. In game it looks and feels properly good. Trust me. It has interesting twists, peaks, downs, all the good story should have. So the conclusion is simple. I love this game. Ryse is beautiful, amazing, interesting, underrated gem that should be more popular. Gameplay simplicity not ruins the game. It probably makes it even better, more similar to a film even, a good film. It has a memorable Roman aesthetic. It even more precious because we don't have a lot of games dedicated to this period. I highly recommend you to play Ryse Son of Rome if you haven't already. One of the best games I ever played.